Before anything else can truly change in your life, something far more important must happen first. You must begin to see yourself clearly, not the version of yourself shaped by other people's expectations, not the one edited for approval, but the honest, unfiltered truth of who you are. Self-awareness is where all real education begins. It is the moment you stop running on autopilot and start living with intention. Because when you don't know yourself, you can spend years climbing ladders only to discover they were leaning against the wrong wall. So many people move through life asking, what should I do next? Without ever asking, who am I becoming? Self-awareness invites you to pause long enough to listen to your inner voice, the one that knows when something feels right and when it doesn't. It's the quiet knowing that speaks before fear has a chance to interrupt. When you develop self-awareness, you stop confusing busyness with progress. You begin to understand your patterns, your triggers, your habits, and the beliefs that have been guiding your choices, sometimes without your permission. Education gives you information, but self-awareness gives you insight. Insight allows you to recognize not just your strengths, but also the areas where you need to grow. And growth is not a punishment, it is a privilege. When you know what you need to learn, you become teachable. When you know where you struggle, you become intentional. Self-aware people don't pretend to have it all together, they commit to getting better. There is great power in knowing your values. Values are the invisible compass that guide your decisions when no one is watching. When you are clear about what matters most to you, decisions become simpler, even when they are difficult. You stop saying yes to things that drain you and start saying yes to what aligns with your purpose. Self-awareness helps you recognize when you are compromising yourself for comfort or approval, and it gives you the courage to choose differently. And here's the truth we don't talk about enough. Without self-awareness, success can become a mask. You can achieve impressive things while quietly ignoring what your spirit has been asking for all along. But when you are self-aware, success becomes an expression of who you are, not an escape from who you are. You begin to build a life that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. Self-awareness also teaches you empathy. When you understand your own struggles, you become more compassionate toward others. You stop judging and start understanding. This awareness strengthens your relationships, deepens your leadership, and expands your influence. People are naturally drawn to those who are grounded in themselves, because clarity creates trust, and trust creates connection. The most powerful thing you can do for your future is to tell yourself the truth today. Pay attention to what energizes you and what exhausts you. Notice the moments when you feel most alive and the ones where you feel disconnected. Ask yourself not just what you want, but why you want it. Because the more honest you are with yourself, the more aligned your life becomes. And when you know who you are, you no longer chase success. You become the kind of person success recognizes. There comes a moment in every life when we realize that waiting to be rescued is exhausting. That moment is powerful because it's the moment you understand that responsibility is not a burden. It is freedom. The truth is, the most empowered people in the world are not the ones who had everything handed to them. They are the ones who decided to take ownership of their lives, one choice at a time. Responsibility is the instant you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do with what I have? Education can give you knowledge, but responsibility teaches you how to apply it. It's easy to point to circumstances, to upbringing, to systems, to timing, and yes, all of those things matter. But the moment you hand over all the power to your past or your situation, you also hand over your future. Responsibility brings that power back home to you. It reminds you that while you may not control everything that happens, you always control how you respond. Taking responsibility means recognizing that your choices shape your life far more than your excuses ever will. It means understanding that growth begins where blame ends. When you take ownership of your actions, your habits, your reactions, you reclaim your ability to change them. Responsibility doesn't mean being hard on yourself. It means being honest with yourself. It's the difference between self-punishment and self-respect. Responsible people don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for motivation to show up before they act. They understand that discipline is a form of self-love. When you commit to doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, you build trust with yourself. And self-trust is one of the most powerful currencies you can have. When you trust yourself, you stop second-guessing your worth and start showing up fully in your life. Responsibility also transforms how you face challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as proof that you're failing, you begin to see them as feedback. Every setback becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes information. This mindset doesn't make you immune to pain, but it makes you resilient. You stop asking life to be easier and start becoming stronger. And here's something important. Responsibility changes the way others see you. People are naturally drawn to those who take ownership, who follow through, who don't make excuses. Opportunity finds people who are reliable, accountable, and consistent. When you take responsibility, you don't just build success, you build credibility. And credibility opens doors that talent alone cannot. Responsibility is also about recognizing your influence. Your words matter. Your energy matters. The way you show up affects rooms you enter, people you lead, and lives you touch. When you take responsibility for your attitude, your integrity, and your impact, you begin to live with intention. You stop drifting and start directing your life. So let me say this clearly. Responsibility is not about carrying the weight of the world. It's about carrying your own power. The moment you fully own your life is the moment you realize you were never powerless at all. Long before anyone notices your achievements, the world is responding to something far more subtle and far more powerful. Your character. Character is who you are when the spotlight is gone, when no one is applauding, when there is nothing to gain. It is built in the quiet moments of choice, in how you treat people who cannot do anything for you, and in how you honor your own values when it would be easier not to. And here's what life teaches us again and again. Opportunity is drawn to character the way trust is drawn to truth. You can impress people with talent, intelligence, and charm, but you earn their confidence through consistency and integrity. Character is what makes people feel safe with you, safe to invest in you, to believe in you, to walk alongside you. Education can sharpen your skills, but character determines how far those skills will carry you. Without it, success becomes unstable, built on something that can collapse the moment pressure arrives. Character shows up in your daily decisions. It's in whether you keep your word, even when it's inconvenient. It's in whether you choose honesty over shortcuts and grow over ego. It's in how you handle disappointment, whether you become bitter or better. These moments may seem small, but they are not invisible. Life is always paying attention, and so are the people who hold opportunities you haven't even imagined yet. There's a quiet magnetism to people with strong character. They don't need to announce themselves. Their presence speaks for them. They listen deeply. They take responsibility. They treat others with respect, not because it benefits them, but because it reflects who they are. This kind of integrity creates a reputation that precedes you. Before you enter the room, your character has already spoken on your behalf. Character also keeps you grounded when success arrives. Without it, achievement can inflate the ego and distort priorities. With it, success becomes a tool rather than an identity. You remain teachable, grateful, and aware that your position is a platform, not a pedestal. Character reminds you that how you rise matters just as much as how high you go. And let's be honest, character is tested most when it costs you something, when telling the truth risks approval, when doing the right thing feels lonely, when staying disciplined means saying no to comfort. These are the moments that shape who you are becoming. They don't always bring immediate rewards, but they always build long-term success. What you protect in private determines what you attract in public. Character also shapes your inner life. When your actions align with your values, you experience a sense of peace that no external success can replace. You don't have to perform or pretend. You can rest in the knowledge that you are living in alignment with your truth. This inner stability becomes the foundation for outer success, because confidence rooted in character cannot be shaken by comparison or criticism. So, if you want to attract opportunity, begin by strengthening who you are, not just what you do. Invest in becoming trustworthy, disciplined, compassionate, and honest. Because when your character is strong, life doesn't have to be convinced. You naturally become the kind of person opportunity is drawn to. There is a quiet truth that doesn't get enough attention in a world obsessed with natural ability, and it's this: talent may open the door, but consistency is what allows you to walk through it and stay. So many people believe success belongs to the gifted, the lucky, or the fearless. But again and again, life shows us that the people who go the farthest are not always the most talented. They are the most committed. They show up when it's uncomfortable, when it's repetitive, and when the excitement is worn off. Consistency is not glamorous. It doesn't announce itself. It looks like doing the small, ordinary things over and over again, even when no one is clapping. It's choosing discipline over motivation, especially on the days when motivation doesn't arrive. Education teaches us concepts, but consistency teaches us mastery. Mastery is built through practice, patience, and persistence, not perfection. There will be days when you feel inspired and days when you feel tired, unsure, or distracted. Consistent people don't wait to feel ready. They act because they are committed. They understand that progress doesn't come from intensity once in a while. It comes from intention every day. Even the smallest effort, when repeated, becomes powerful. Small steps taken consistently create momentum, and momentum creates belief. Consistency also builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your sense of self-trust. And self-trust changes how you move through the world. You stop questioning whether you can handle challenges because you've proven to yourself through your actions that confidence doesn't come from thinking positive thoughts. It comes from honoring your commitments, especially the ones no one else sees. The truth is, talent without consistency can create frustration. You know you are capable of more, but you never quite reach it. Consistency, on the other hand, has a way of unlocking potential you didn't even know you had. When you stay committed to learning, improving, and showing up, your abilities expand. What once felt difficult becomes natural. What once felt impossible becomes familiar. Consistency also teaches humility. It reminds you that success is a process, not an event. There is no finish line where effort suddenly stops. Every level requires a new version of commitment. And that's not a limitation, it's an invitation to grow. Consistent people understand that progress is rarely linear. There will be setbacks, pauses, and moments of doubt. But consistency keeps you moving forward even when the path isn't clear. And here's something important. Consistency makes you dependable. People trust those who show up. Opportunities are given to those who follow through. When others know they can rely on you, doors open naturally. You don't have to convince anyone of your value. Your actions speak for you. Over time, consistency becomes your reputation. So don't underestimate the power of doing the right thing in the right way day after day. Don't let comparison distract you from your own steady progress. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep refining, because when talent is supported by consistency, success stops being a possibility and becomes inevitable. At some point along the journey of achievement, life gently asks a deeper question: who is benefiting from your success? Because while success can elevate your life, service gives that success meaning. There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop seeing success as something you collect and start seeing it as something you contribute. Education teaches us how to build skills, but service teaches us how to use those skills in a way that matters. Service is not always loud or visible. It often shows up in quiet acts, listening when someone needs to be heard, sharing what you know so someone else can grow, offering support without expecting anything in return. These moments may seem small, but they are transformative. When you serve, you connect, and connection is the true currency of a meaningful life. The most fulfilled people understand that success expands when it is shared. When you lift others, you create an environment where growth multiplies. Service shifts your focus from competition to contribution. Instead of asking, how do I get ahead? You begin to ask, how can I add value? That question alone changes how you show up in the world. It sharpens your awareness, deepens your compassion, and strengthens your leadership. Service also keeps you grounded. It reminds you that no success is achieved alone. Behind every achievement is a network of support, guidance, and opportunity. When you serve others, you honor the truth that we are all connected. This awareness builds humility, and humility creates trust. People are drawn to those who use their influence with care and their success with generosity. There's also something deeply educational about service. It teaches empathy in a way no textbook ever could. When you engage with others' experiences, you expand your understanding of the world beyond your own perspective. Service stretches your heart and your mind. It challenges assumptions and invites growth. In giving, you often receive insight, clarity, and purpose. And here's what's remarkable. Service has a way of attracting opportunities you could never plan for. When you consistently show up with the intention to help people notice, trust builds, relationships deepen, doors open, not because you asked, but because you earned credibility through care. Service creates a reputation that speaks louder than self-promotion ever could. Service also strengthens resilience. When life feels heavy, when personal success feels uncertain, serving others can remind you of your impact. It reconnects you to something bigger than your own challenges. In moments of giving, you often find healing. In moments of helping, you rediscover hope. Service reminds you that your presence matters, even on days when progress feels slow. True success is not measured only by what you achieve, but by what you enable in others. It's seen in the confidence you help someone build, the knowledge you pass on, the encouragement you offer at the right moment. When your success becomes a source of strength for others, it gains depth and longevity. So as you continue to grow, remember this: let your success make room for others. Let your education become a tool for service. Because when you lead with generosity, your life becomes more than successful. It becomes significant. Comes a moment, often after you've worked hard, achieved goals, and checked off what you once dreamed of, when a quiet question rises up inside you and refuses to be ignored. It asks, is this all? Not because you aren't grateful, but because something deeper is calling. That moment is not dissatisfaction, it is awareness. It is your spirit reminding you that success alone is not the destination. Purpose is. Purpose is what gives success its soul. Purpose is the reason your achievements feel fulfilling instead of fleeting. Without it, success can become a constant chase, one more goal, one more win, one more milestone, yet never quite enough. Purpose shifts the focus from proving yourself to expressing yourself. It allows your work, your grow, and your ambition to reflect who you truly are. When you are connected to purpose, you are no longer driven by comparison or applause. You are guided by meaning. Purpose doesn't always announce itself loudly. Often, it reveals itself through what moves you emotionally, what you feel drawn to protect, improve, or heal. It shows up in the problems you can't ignore, and the people you feel called to serve. Purpose is personal. It doesn't need to look impressive to anyone else. It just needs to be true to you. And when it is, your energy changes, your focus sharpens, your resilience deepens. Education gives you the ability to succeed, but purpose gives you a reason to keep going when success is difficult. Purpose steadies you during uncertainty. It reminds you why your effort matters on days when results are slow or recognition is absent. When your work is connected to purpose, setbacks don't define you, they refine you. You understand that obstacles are not signs to stop, but invitations to grow stronger and wiser. Purpose also transforms how you define success. You stop measuring your life solely by what you accumulate and start measuring it by what you contribute. You begin to ask not just, what am I achieving, but who am I becoming in the process? Purpose aligns your values with your actions, so there is no disconnect between the life you live and the life you believe in. That alignment creates peace, the kind that doesn't depend on circumstances. When success is rooted in purpose, it expands beyond you. Your growth creates space for others to grow. Your voice becomes a source of clarity. Your presence becomes a source of encouragement. Purpose naturally turns leadership into service and ambition into impact. It reminds you that your life is not just about personal gain, but about collective good. And in that awareness, success becomes sustainable because it is no longer self-centered. It is meaningful. Purpose also gives you courage. It helps you make difficult choices with confidence, even when they don't bring immediate rewards. It gives you the strength to walk away from what looks good but feels wrong, and to commit to what feels right even when it's challenging. Purpose anchors you when the world is loud with opinions, expectations, and distractions. It keeps you grounded in what truly matters. And here's the truth. Success fades when it is disconnected from meaning, but purpose deepens with time. Titles change, circumstances shift, seasons pass, but a life lived on purpose continues to matter because it leaves an imprint on people, not just a record of accomplishments. When your success is aligned with purpose, it no longer asks, how much did I achieve? It simply asks, did I live in truth? And did I make a difference?